I am your host, Curtis, and with my returning champion, Brian, still in Hawaii, soon to return, Sunday.
Tomorrow will be my last show of the Bidness from Honolulu.
Fantastic. We'll have to do like a special Hawaiian send-off or something.
I'll actually wear a Hawaiian shirt tomorrow. It'll be great.
We'll have coconut bras and do
but
this.
I'm going to make sure that it's unbuttoned like really far down and like, just all this hairy chest sticking out. It'll be great.
All right, let me introduce our guests tonight because we got a great group of musicians here. To start with, yeah, Brian. Yeah. Start with, we have a second Brian in the room. This is Brian Blush from the Refreshments, and I am super excited to have him because not only is he an awesome guitarist and a songwriter, but he also wrote the theme song to one of our favorite TV shows, King of the Hill. So we're not worthy. We're not worthy.
Dang it,
Curtis. I absolutely love that show, man.
Gosh dang it, Bobby.
All right.
And then next down the line we have Nicole Muse. Nicole Muse is a professional exotic dancer in Las Vegas, Nevada. She does burlesque, and she also is a dancer for the Franks and Deans. They're a great rock and ska and punk cover band, not a cover band. It's kind of a thing. They do like Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin tunes, and they're such a fun band. They really are. Anyway, you'll see her dancing with them. She's got hula hoops and grass skirts and lights and things, clothes flying everywhere.
I think
anything I can.
I can attest to the clothes flying everywhere.
Are we just gonna ignore the chicken sandwich?
Right.
Well, no.
Hey, where's this burlesque show again? I need to show up at that.
Well, the sad thing, Mr. Blush, is that your screen is black, so you can't see that she's already addressed.
I know. I guess I'm missing out here. What the hell?
Awesome. Last but not least, we have one of my favorite people in the world here. We got Marcus Henderson. Marcus Henderson is the guitarist for the Hellbillies, and he is also the guitarist that charted nearly all the tunes for the original Guitar Hero video game. He also has done work with Rock Band and several other video games in the music field. So he is an awesome musician.
I've disappointed people in every medium possible. Fucking world champ, man.
You moved over to video games because you got tired of disappointing people musically.
Right. I'm going down the line to ruin everybody's lives one platform at a time.
Well, that's just like me and Brian were part of Monkey, and then we throw a podcast just to ruin everybody's life on the podcast world.
Dream big, baby. Dream big.
Dream big. Dreaming big.
Shoot for the stars, man.
And we get tens of watchers on this podcast.
We do.
Yeah.
Actually, it's not too bad. Last night's episode had about 15, 20 people at any time during the show, and then I looked at the feed this morning. It was like over 2,000 people had seen it. So
they all really just chimed in to see Dan Vitale and Ken Stewart blasted.
Yeah, they were so ripped. They were so ripped. That was fun.
Actually, if I was on a beach in Panama, I would also be ripped.
Fucking valid.
Fantastic.
Fucking Panama.
Panama. Dun, dun, dun. Oh, here we go.
Oh, there it is.
You gotta do the Awesome. Just shredding. The man shreds so much he doesn't even stop for a podcast. He's like,
"Are you fucking kidding me? I'm like the fourth best guitar player in this entire Brady band." All right, it's not even close.
Here's a story of Marcus Henderson.
Crickets and tumbleweeds will roll
Hey, Marcus. Angela Holmes is in the feed. She says, "Hi guys, hi Marcus."
I love you, Angie. I love you, Deshaun. I miss all you guys.
Little known fact is I used to work with Marcus and Angie, so we have a common past.
We're OG.
Excellent. All right, so the show only has 2 questions, and 1 question I ask at the end of the show, 1 question I ask at the beginning of the show. And the question that begins every show is, he's writing it out. I'm writing at my response to Santa.
Santa, working real hard here.
Movement make.
Working.
So the question is, what did you do this last year, 2020, to keep yourself safe and sane in the era of the COVID lockdown and all the riots and all the crap that was going on in this nation and in this world? What did you do? And we'll start that question out. Okay, Blush, you don't see this, but Nickole, an exotic dancer, is shoveling French fries into her face while she's holding head. She's lying.
I'm really missing out here, man. I got to figure out how to get this video up.
Hey,
and she has
okay.
a soda the size of her torso.
Can you hand me a fry?
And now there's a cat in the. Okay, this is already out of control. Mr. Blush, are you near a computer of any type?
I am. I'm not very well versed in the computer skills. I've been a technophobe my entire life, and I'm, as you can obviously tell from my phone skills here, probably. I can't see you guys, and I have no idea what I look like.
Well, I was going to say, if you have Facebook on that computer, you can fire it up and at least see the feed 20 seconds delayed.
All right. Let me see if I can find it here.
While he's looking for his computer, let's ask Nickole, what did you do this year to keep yourself healthy, wealthy, and wise in the era of COVID?
Oh, that was me answering that question before with French fries. That's I ate.
The answer to that is French fries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, no, that's not the only answer, Nickole. There was also Jameson.
Yeah.
Jameson, yeah, that helps. Jameson, especially if you make like a milkshake out of the Jameson and French fries. Yeah, like a blender.
No.
That's a tough sell.
Yeah, man.
Like,
Yeah, it's a hard no.
No, I mean, I had to get into a better living situation because I started out all of this in a terrible living situation. But once I moved into where I am now, it helped my sanity a little bit. But I mean, I have just been dancing. That's about it. You know, just trying to dance around my living room. And yeah, drink heavily and lots of fried chicken sandwiches. That's about it.
Nice.
Oh.
That is
Hence me lying down. I have the Botticelli babe thing going on now.
nice.
You know, like in history past, why there was, you know, all these people laying down fucking, you know, chubby couches because that's all we're doing.
Yeah.
That's all we're doing.
Yeah, Blush found the feed.
I did. I found it. Sorry about that.
Yeah,
Didn't mean to interrupt the vodka and chicken sandwich talk there.
She knows how to work the vodka and chicken sandwich for sure.
Yeah. That's an acquired skill as you grow older. If you don't have that skill developed, you're going to suffer in life.
You just dip the chicken sandwich into the whiskey.
Yeah.
Dip. Wow.
That's my favorite topping.
I just do a whiskey glaze on everything I eat.
You got whiskey, a 40 ounce of soda, a chicken sandwich, and French fries. That's the 4 food groups. Covered.
That's the 4 horsemen of the
There we go.
man.
Yeah, it is.
Nice.
My current ashtray, if you can see. Can you see that?
Yep.
Oh yeah, looking good. Good. Almost
There's
full.
always whiskey nearby.
Yeah, there is.
Hey, so Nickole, did you learn any new dances or any new hobbies?
Yes, I learned how to, you know, sob openly while hula hooping.
To just cry uncontrollably. Where's my career?
That is not easy. By the way. Hiding your sorrow.
Yeah.
Next to impossible.
Yeah. I mean, the only trick that I've kind of learned through, I did a live streaming show where I had found an 18-year-old bottle of scotch beforehand.
Ooh.
And while hula hooping and drinking scotch, I was able to move my hula hoop up and down my body. So, I mean, the new life skill. It's
Nice.
high up right now. It's very high up there.
It's going to make for an excellent show with the Deans.
For sure.
I mean,
Slamming bottles while you're hooping.
Well, I want to see if we can get Samson to do that. Awesome. Marcus,
Oh, God. Yes.
what did you do this last year to stay sane in the era of the COVID lockdown, the mighty COVID lockdown?
I fucking failed at whatever it is I'm supposed to be doing because I was sobbing openly for months and months. But to be fair, I've been buying a lot of cheap jewelry on Wish.com.
Yeah.
you and me
That's
both.
good.
I'm going for the full Mr. T neck, and it's only cost me like $16. Not even kidding you.
Well, they got to. They didn't do Mardi Gras this year, so they got to get rid of all the plastic crap somewhere.
I'm all about it, man. I got a pharaoh's head coming that's about the size of an apple.
Nice.
I've got a Bart Simpson fucking pendant coming. I've got like 6 major gold chains that I'm looking forward to turning my neck green, and I got more tattoos. So I'm pretty much 40% tattoo these days. Other than that, I've been playing a lot of video games with my kid, who's keeping me sane, obviously. Working with Orion makes you, having a kid in like extraordinary circumstances, it either forces you to be a horrible husk of a human being, or to sort of try to normalize all the bullshit. And we've somehow made it out okay, and he's doing great. So he's kind of like the barometer for everything. I can't say that I'm entirely sane, but I can say that I'm failing a little bit less each day. So it's things like this, being able to talk to other people. Obviously, we haven't been able to play music or do shit. So it's just good to be able to banter with other musicians.
sure.
So this is great. I'll see you guys again tomorrow.
I'm here all week.
Awesome.
Try the field.
Nice. Mr. Blush, what did you do to stay healthy, safe, and wise in the era of COVID? Did you learn any new trades or any new hobbies? What'd you do to keep yourself busy?
Truthfully, I spent a lot of time writing songs and a lot of time meditating and trying to wrap my head around myself. But yeah, I mean, mostly a lot of writing. I'm working on a book, and working on a new record. I had a chance to kind of combine forces with Johnny Hickman from Cracker. And,
nice.
We're trying to write a few songs together, and but outside of that, a lot of drinking and crying myself to sleep. No, I've actually been fairly productive during this time. I figured it's, with this much time on your hands, it's for one, it's, I don't know about you guys, but spending a lot of time solo and alone. I'm a night owl, so you kind of get into those emotional places that when you're gigging regularly and stuff, you don't necessarily go there a lot, and so this is giving me the time to sort of be introspective and do some of that stuff. And that's basically what's been kind of keeping me sane.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
it's crazy. I've asked that question of so many musicians on the show, and a lot of them are really open about saying, "Yeah, I fucking cried this year. I
hourly.
fully
I call
bawling
those
for no reason."
days, man. Oh my god.
And I expect that to see, I expected to see that some musicians would be jaded, like, oh no, I'm super cool, my image. But no, I think the year of this has broke everybody. Everyone's like, I'm a human being. I need love. I need somebody to reach out to me every once in a while. And
to be fair, Curtis, just to kind of keep back in the swing of things, I usually play guitar by myself, in front of nobody, so that I can retain the feeling of what it's like to be in a band again. So it's
Well, tell me when you start putting up a cardboard crowd.
It's the gig simulator, man.
But don't go overboard. Just one or two.
Right? Right. I don't have enough room on the guest list.
No, you're gonna have a guest list of like 20, but only 2 of them are gonna.
Only 2 will show up. It's a Wednesday night, right? Oh my God.
My paper friends had something better to do and to attend my gig.
At the last minute. They said there's no parking. What the fuck?
Oh God, Kurt, that should be the name of our next album. My Paper Friends.
All of my paper friends.
All of my paper friends.
Zero interested.
Does anybody watch Conan O'Brien?
Yeah, sometimes.
Conan O'Brien this year has gone off the deep end. He was doing it from his house, and then he rented a very tiny theater, like a little oldie timey theater, and he packed the theater with pictures of all the people that tagged his feed or said comments. He would go to their site and just yank a random picture of them and just cut them out and put them in a seat. And now he has conversations with the paper people in the seats. It's just ridiculous.
Oh, brilliant. Oh my God.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, Andy Richter is always amongst those paper people and yelling back rude comments.
See, I feel like that's a little less sad than all the cardboard cutouts at all the baseball games earlier.
What about
people are literally paying like $100 to have their cardboard cutout put in the baseball stadium?
Well,
oh yeah, no, straight up.
Yeah, for sure. But at first they were superimposing crowds from previous events onto the stadium with crowd chanting sounds, so that people wouldn't miss the effect of watching a live game.
I will say the NBA did a pretty good one before they started letting like small crowds come in. At least some of the teams. They had like 2 or 3 rows all the way around of like screens set up that people like could zoom in and like for like 10 seconds at the game, like watch the game and like be on the screen at the game. Yeah. And then it would flash to the next person watching the game and their Zoom, and they'd be like, "Oh, honey, we're on the screen now!" Like, I was like, I was like, you know what? That's not nearly as sad as an entire stadium of cardboard cut out.
What I wouldn't give to play in front of a bunch of cardboard. That guy's got it made, man.
They should actually.
You got cutouts?
Oh man. And I'm not going to feel right at our first concert once the COVID is over. I mean, I'm going to bring cardboard fans with us.
It's like putting them in between groups of other people. Like, do not go past this cardboard.
Here's a pro tip. If you get a piece of paper and fold it, then you can cut one person out and then
get a whole room full of people.
Pro tip.
Fucking sold out.
I got a pro tip.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Just the tip.
Awesome. In the feed, we got some more people in the feed here. Dave Litton, our favorite podcaster, says music talk is actually a tough one. We do about 5 to 20 times the audience when we are doing our other content. I don't know what that means.
I think their other content on the show is like video game stuff.
Oh yeah, and he does a lot of. He does a lot of like QAnon fighting on his
Oh
show.
yeah, that's right.
So
That's right,
he'll like, this is a topic that we're going to take apart today. So, but anyway, yeah, he's a cool dude. And then we have Angie Holmes and my girl Lisa are now chatting to each other.
We've already lost him.
Like, oh my God, it's so nice to see you.
Like when our two fans find each other and then go to the bar together while we're playing.
right. Yeah.
Because the
See,
whole audience.
You're like,
now we need
100% of our audience is gone.
now we need to get Blush to play that theme song from American Tail. Somewhere out there.
wow. You know, I got to go, guys. Me and Muse got to go have our own show somewhere else.
Just boink. Hey, that show sucked. Awesome. Oh man, craziness. Mr. Blush, have you done any soundtrack work or anything since the mighty COVID lockdown?
I have not done any TV or film in the lockdown time. Just prior to the lockdown, I did this thing. Have you guys heard of that rock and roll fantasy camp deal?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's where they, people pay to come in and jam a set with, whoever's the rock stars at the thing. I was a counselor there, so I had a group of kids that.
One time at band camp.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, at band camp.
He's like, what not to do with the flute?
They were doing they were making a film of that, and so I guess it's about the only film I've been involved with in this past year. But I really enjoy doing work for scores and themes and jingles and all that stuff. It pays well, and I can I love being in a band, but sometimes you clash creatively with other people. So to be the captain of your own ship and make all the calls, that's it's just sort of a relief. But I certainly miss the energy of playing with other musicians. I miss that a lot.
Nice. Yeah, it's definitely. I think that every musician that's been on the show has expressed the same thing.
Yeah, it's like, rough, man. It's rough.
Yeah, just to be in the room with another musician, or to be in the room with someone watching you, they'll clap after a song and say, "Yay, that was nice."
Right. They're doing this thing here in Tempe, Arizona. It's called the Ditch, and what they do is they have a stage set up in a neighborhood in Tempe that's across this sort of. I guess it's like for rain, extra spill water or whatever. But the band sets up on the other side of that, and then they have, artists like bands play and solo artists and stuff. And then what happens is the people from the neighborhood come out and sit in their yard and watch the show from their house, basically.
Yeah.
And it's a hell of a lot of fun. It also sort of makes me miss the being on stage, but it was a nice fill in, it definitely gave me that feeling again, and that kept me going. Some of that stuff really keeps you going through these day after day of just the same old nothing.
Yeah, for sure. We got asked to play in San Jose. There was a promoter that wanted to put a band on a flatbed truck and drive you slowly through the neighborhoods, right?
Right.
And you stop at a corner or whatever, and all the people would come out and they'd clap, and they'd all be 6 feet away, and and they'd have somebody there to make sure, hey, don't stand too close to each other, that sort of thing. And we got all the way up to doing the show, and then it got canceled for us, only us, because they're like, City of San Jose says no singers.
Yeah, right.
Because you're projecting aerosol.
And then Kurt was like, well, I can put a mask on and do the thing. And they're like, Yeah, also no wind instruments.
We're a ska band. It's like that's
Look at
the
the
thing.
ska band.
I'm
Right.
like we can play all instrumentals, but if you take the instruments away too, then we got nothing.
Yeah.
I was like, I feel persecuted right now. You don't get to judge me for my life choice of playing trumpet.
Right.
Oh, wait.
You should have just showed up with like a giant sock around the trumpet.
Dude, or like Dave Hilliard's setup. He's got this Dave Hilliard, the sax player for the Slackers, has this mask that's got like a zipper on it that he opens up so he can put his mouthpiece into his mask.
Oh, nice.
And he's got
It's like
this
bondage
little,
gear.
right?
Yeah.
And
The
he's got
zipper
this
mask.
little contraption that goes over the bell of his saxophone, which like when you look at it, you're like, oh yeah, that's doing a thing, and then you realize that a saxophone is just like Swiss cheese all the way up and down the entire body of it. You're like,
Right.
that isn't doing a freaking thing.
Yeah, just shoot it everywhere. I just realized that that music is a dirty business.
Oh, disgusting.
It's absolutely deliciously disgusting.
And those are the good parts of it.
Nothing like licking a 58 that six other bands have been on. You know?
A bashed in 58 right after a GGL and
Right.
I actually, I'll tell a quick story. We did a show in Arcata, and the guy was, put up all the mics and everything. He was really super particular about the sound system and was dialing everything. I was like, awesome. The band that played before us, they were like a joke punk band, right? And so the guy, he's like screaming and jumping down. Yeah, he's screaming and he's jumping up and down, and then he took the microphone and he shoved it in his ass. And I don't mean like shoved it into his pants. I mean shoved it below his belt, below his underwear, into his cheeks, and then like screams into it again, because that's the end of the song, and throws it up on the microphone stand. And I sit, and the guy comes over and he puts the microphone stand in front of me, and I'm all, you take that the fuck away right now. And he's like, what? My stuff's good. And I'm like, that guy just shoved it in his butt.
Yeah.
It is not going anywhere near my face. And I fully had an argument with that guy. That guy was really mad at me. And I'm like, I'm going to stand here until you find another microphone. And if I have to use a kick drum mic, I'll do it. I'm not going to put that thing in my face.
So glad I became a musician.
Is that when you started traveling with your own microphone?
Yeah. So when we were doing a lot of touring, I realized I would get sick, and then I would have like maybe 3 or 4 weeks of health, and then I'd be sick again.
Yeah.
3 or 4 weeks of health, and then sick again. And part of me, I have really bad allergies to cats and to certain trees and stuff like that. So I thought, hey, these are just my allergies catching up on a cycle because I'm going to so many places. Then I bought a microphone and didn't get sick on the road at all. That just stopped it, and it deadened its tracks. It's so simple.
You're not putting your mouth against stuff that was in other people's butts.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Well,
people like that.
Yeah. Well, on top of that, a lot of performers, they go, nah, 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 they scream into it, and then they hold it into the crowd where like 5 people spit on it. They're
Right.
like, ah! They never sing; they're just screaming and spitting, and that's usually their ending song because they don't care who gets the microphone after them. So, boom, thank you, good night, out of here. Oh man, I love being a musician.
It's the perk. That's one of the perks. You get to make
Right.
out with everybody in the room.
Yeah,
whether you want to or not, whether you want to or not.
for sure. Absolutely.
Flop and spit with the kids.
Hey, Blush, did you ever play CBGBs?
Never played there. I've been there.
Yeah,
well, when it was open, I've been there a bunch of times.
You've been to the bathroom at CBGBs?
Oh yeah.
That's terrifying.
Yeah.
Terrifying.
The lone toilet at the bottom of the stairs.
Right.
Yeah.
No fence. No.
Yeah. No.
No, nothing at all.
Just
Good toilet.
You get to
bowl,
the top of the stairs and you're just looking down at somebody taking a shit. And you're just like,
Part of the show.
You're very brave.
And then the odd thing is the women's bathroom was also down there. So there's two doorways at the bottom of the stairs that you could see very clearly. One doorway had a wall of urinals and a single toilet on a pillar, like a stage, with no doors to the bathroom and no doors around the toilet. Just there, just a golden throne. And then the other one had you could see very clearly into the women's bathroom because it had no door, and they had little half partitions between the women's toilets. So you would look at the other side, and there was a well-lit bathroom that didn't look quite as disgusting, and you just saw heads in a row. Just go do yeah. Right.
That is the geographical equivalent to a microphone in the butt.
All right.
that is it.
I always found that touring was really about finding a good place to poop. You know.
Yo, absolutely. Let's talk about that.
Now we're talking.
That's a solid half of being on the road.
Yeah, you live in bar rooms, and you know what I mean, and can't poop on the bus. So gotta. When you find a good, clean, like office building where it's pristine, that's heaven.
Okay, so one time we're in France, and I don't even remember where it was, but I was in a 8-man touring funk band, and everybody.
That's already bad.
One after the other, shit in the same toilet. By the 8th guy, I swear that toilet actually pressed charges against the man.
It's attorney at
that. It was just like screaming for mercy. Fuck.
What about
we used to have this member in Monkey that like before like. You wake up at 9, 10 o'clock in the morning, whatever. You're on tour. You need to get like on the road by like 1 or 2. By like the time that we were like getting into the van, he would have shit at least 5 times. Just like up at like 10.
Impressive.
1, yeah. 10:45 is number 2. 11:15 is number 3. It's just like, dude,
that's a pretty regular guy.
Get out of the bathroom.
It was like that movie Broken Arrow. It's like they lost a missile in the desert.
I remember hearing the story about Gibby Haynes from the Butthole Surfers. That when bands would tour and do the the radio festivals in the summer, all the buses would be parked out back behind the band shell or whatever, and tour buses, you can't go number 2 on a tour bus unless you want to ride around and stink. So Gibby Haynes from the Butthole Surfers would sneak onto people's buses and just leave horrible things behind. So he was the phantom pooper on the summer tours.
Has anybody here played
like
City
the Butthole
Gardens?
Surfers? You can understand.
What'd you say, Marcus?
Did anybody play City Gardens? Anybody? Has anybody been to City Gardens?
Where's that?
Where's that?
City Gardens is in New Jersey. It was where Jon Stewart was the bartender for some time.
Okay.
No.
I think maybe years ago. Yeah.
Yeah. So Gibby almost burned that place down a couple of times, actually. That's true story.
Yeah. He's a nut job. He's crazy. Paul Leary, the guitar player from Butthole Surfers, produced the Refreshments' second album. So we had a little bit of Meat Puppets, Butthole Surfers hanging out time, and it was interesting. It was very, very strange, but a lot of fun too.
Nice.
Oh my God.
Nice. Do you still hang with those guys?
I haven't. I mean, Paul lives in Austin, Texas, and Gibby. Yeah, Gibby's in Austin now too, and he has a little side project, the Jack Officers. And
awesome.
Last I heard, that's what he was
band.
doing. Yeah, last I heard he was doing Jack Officers for now. But that's a very strange group of people. But very, very cool artistic weirdos that they're fun to hang out with. But you got to pick your moments, and and every once in a while you got to run screaming from it.
Yeah, I get to hear. I'm friends with a couple of guys in the Dwarves, and I get to hear
Yeah.
about their insane road stories too.
Oh, for sure.
It's fun times. Fun times.
Yeah.
Nothing like a good punk band.
Yeah, that's true.
Fantastic. Nickole, what's your worst tour poop story?
Oh, dear Lord.
You've been to a Franks and Dean show. I don't have to explain.
Oh, Haas.
Haas.
For the people in the crowd, Franks and Deans are like a punk and roll kind of cover band. They do traditional Frank Sinatra / Dean Martin / love tunes from the 40s, 50s, and 60s, and they are funny as all get up. It's kind of like it's kind of like watching one of those old Hollywood roast programs, where the comedians would make fun of each other. Yeah, all the time. It doesn't stop off the stage. I mean, these guys are 100% roast. It's hilarious. They do this. Speaking of roast, let's do a plug for them. When there is not a COVID shutdown,
Yes.
they do a monthly show, first Wednesday of every month, at the Double Down Saloon in Las Vegas, Nevada, and it's called the Weenie Roast, and they actually serve hot dogs.
It's like this: hot dogs and lots of tits.
It's just fantastic.
Yes.
I have been shit-tastic at the Double Down.
Oh,
several times.
Yeah.
Who hasn't? God damn. That place sucked a bit of my soul out one year, I tell you, man. Not a good memory.
You come and guys. Get your drinks. Get your
Like,
first drinks.
My liver just seized on me when I heard the words Double Down. Like, it just kind of a chill ran through my body.
With their what was their signature drink, the ass juice.
The ass juice, yes.
What? See, we're back.
Now we're back.
Yeah, I think I opened a can of worms I really didn't want to, I guess, apparently, with all the
Please don't talk about worms. Awesome. What do you guys miss the most about the road? Like if you could think of, I know the road. When you're on the road, you've got 100 stories about how the road sucks. And now that you've been away from the road for a long time, it's like everyone's like, "Oh, I miss this. Oh, this one restaurant that we used to go to. This one place that we used to play." I don't know. Anybody got a favorite story they want to share?
I think
Mark.
just the fact that the bar is so low to entertain your buddies, that all of the bullshit you pull is pretty low effort. You don't really have to do altogether too much. It's I miss the camaraderie and the collective Borg of stupidity that you would obtain when you're with a couple of people in a small confined space. I've been touring with a guy named Stark Raving Brad in various bands for over 20 years, and oh my god.
Yeah, Brian, drop a Stark Raving Brad. Look him up and drop a link in the feed for people. Stark Raving Brad is a percussionist extraordinaire weirdo, and like he's the guy that shows up in like a green and pink mohawk, and has like a baby diaper on, and is making weird faces, and it's like the most crazy like percussion kit you've ever seen.
Yeah, we've done it all in pretty much every continent there is.
Nice.
Yeah, and I regret everything.
I don't see a Stark Raving Brad Facebook.
Oh, he's
got like 4 accounts.
Yeah, because he keeps getting deplatformed by Facebook.
Nice.
So every time they deplatform him, he has to come up with a new pseudonym. So I think he's Bird Star now, but then right, but they nuked his early Bird Star, so now he's Bird Star with 2 R's. Real fucking clever, man. Throwing him off the scent, man. Oh.
No, he's a real joy to watch. I forget who I saw him with. Maybe it was with undercover ska or one of the San Francisco bands that was using him for a couple of sets. And yeah, he's a wild child and super fun to hang out with.
Amazing musician, great human being. And the road is only as good as the people that you're with, as you guys know. I mean, you find out pretty quickly, you know, if this is going to be, if somebody's complaining the first hour, it's fucked, right? I mean, so you just need people that are just like, I'm putting on my stupid hat for the next 2 weeks, and we'll just see where it goes. Really, like just drop your expectations down to ground level, and then whatever happens, you can't be disappointed.
Yeah,
one of the things I really miss is you know, seeing your friends in other cities. That
is a big one.
Yeah, that day-to-day energy of moving on, and then you roll into town and see people you haven't seen in a while, and I don't know, it's fun, you know. It's like it's a working vacation.
Yep.
Yeah, that would probably be mine. Is just that, like seeing people that I know in cities that I don't live in, cities that they don't live in, but you know, the music and the road, you know, just bringing us all together. That is definitely, I fucking miss that.
Yeah,
me too.
Miss it.
I try to explain this to people that aren't musicians. They say, how can you do this? How can you get on the road and just like drive for 15, 16 hours to get somewhere to play a show, and then you don't even have a place to stay, nothing's set up, nobody's watching you, nobody's insuring you, whatever. And I'm like, well, you got to understand, you build a family, not just across America, but across the freaking world.
Right.
And it's like, you drive, you know, it's like, hey, where are we playing tonight? We're playing in Phoenix, Arizona. My buddy moved to Tempe. I'm going to give him a call. And you give him a call, and then boom, you're at the buddy's house. You're partying all night. The next morning, you know, they're making breakfast for you. And you're like, this is awesome. I haven't seen you in days. And then you high five and you go to the next town, and there's another buddy there.
Yeah. And the longer you tour, the more kind of friends you acquire out there.
Yeah.
So every city you roll into, you probably have a couch to crash on, and you definitely have some people to, you know, knock a few back with and have a bunch of laughs, you know. And to me, that's what, you know, obviously playing the show is always a blast, but touring can be that you know, hours of boredom punctuated by brief moments of sheer terror. But when you're kicking it in a town and you got your friends that you know there, they take you to the cool spots, and you get kind of this working knowledge of the cities that you go to. So when you go there the next time, you don't feel quite as you know.
You don't feel like a stranger in a strange town.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, you know, I get that response from a lot of musicians. They're like, well, you know, I you know how it is being on the road. You don't actually get to see the town. You're just there for the one stop, and then you leave. And I'm like, what do you mean you don't get to see the town? Like the fact. Okay, so if I flew into, name any town USA, right? And I got off the plane, anything I want to see, I have to research. I have to get tickets online. I have to find it with a map or with a GPS and a driver, right? I have to pay a ton of money to get into it, that sort of thing, right? But when I go and play a show, the first thing I do, you know, we load all our stuff into the club, and I'm like, cool, there's someone here to watch stuff? Yeah, cool. What's the best place to eat? Oh, you want to go 3 blocks and then 2 blocks down. Boom, we're there. We meet a bunch of people. Those people come to the show. We hang out with them afterwards. They drive us around the city. They're like, look at that. The people that pay to come to the city never see that. That's cool.
Yeah.
And you get to see all the crazy dives and all the crazy stuff. And then in the morning, you usually have a list of things you want to do before you leave the town, and then you do them. You know,
my favorite is when you go into the town, you see the one guy. Everybody knows that one guy in the town. Like, you'll just see this one guy, and they're like, "Oh, that's fucking horseback Jesus or something." Everybody knows that guy. And it's like, horseback Jesus. So that's I mean, it's the characters. I mean, and all the rando shit too. I remember our first night on tour. Oh God, this is like 20 something years ago. Very first night, I end up sleeping in a closet of all places, just because there's nowhere else to sleep. Little did I know, there was a cat stuck inside the closet with me, pissed all over my sleeping bag. And that was the first night. So the entire tour, 3 weeks, I had to sleep with a Marlboro Bucks sleeping bag. Remember Marble dollars? I bought a fucking sleeping bag with Marble Bucks. The fucking cat pissed all over it, and I had to sleep in it for an entire tour. So, yeah.
I'm surprised it didn't melt the sleeping bag.
Right.
God, it reeked. I had no idea that cat was in there. I'm so sorry. But it was, first night of the tour too. Good time.
I'll share a quick one. We went to stay with some guys that we met at a show in Vail, Colorado, and their names were Zeb and Jeremiah. and we should have known from just their names that it was going to be a wild ride. But we our roadie had hooked up with some girl, so he was gone, and we're like, I guess we got to trust this guy, right? Zeb and Jeremiah. We're going to trust Zeb and Jeremiah.
Of course, man.
So we follow them back, and of course they live in a trailer park, of course, right? And so he opens the door to the trailer. They don't have a white light anywhere; it's all red light bulbs. And so this room is red and dark cast, right? And my bassist at the time goes, "I get the couch," and he leaps through the air and lands on the couch, and I hear, "Oh!" Because the couch was broken, so they stuck a piece of wood underneath the cushion. And he nearly broke his back on the wood. And I was like, well, that teaches you, right? So I'm looking around because all I want to do is sleep. These guys want to party all night. All I want to do is sleep. I'm like, Zeb, Jeremiah, I want to sleep. And they're like, yeah, but our room is like off limits, that kind of thing, right? And they got nothing in the house besides that couch and a giant pile of dishes. and I'm like, oh, and there's dirt everywhere, and there's kittens with punk rock wristbands as necklaces, right? Like running around, meow meow meow, running around, and just hair. And I'm like, this is going to be horrible. So I look, and across the room they have one of these. It's like a L-shaped bar, right? So I look behind the bar, and there's a pile of clothes behind the bar, and I'm like, wait, if I lay with my feet down the hallway, with my head behind the bar, I will be able to get a good night's sleep, even though these guys are going to party all night. That's my job, right? I'm going to remove the clothes from behind the bar. So I kick the clothes, and the clothes says, "Ow! Why'd you kick me?" There was a dude underneath the clothes, a third dude that I did not know about.
Yeah. Oh shit!
So I had to apologize, and I rolled.
Did you though? I wouldn't have. I would like, get the fuck out of the way.
God damn.
So what I so I have this method of sleeping when I'm in a really weird environment. I take my sleeping bag, I roll it out, right? I zip it all the way up. I put my wallet and all my keys and everything as far down towards the base of the sleeping bag, and then I lie on my back with my arms crossed like this, so I don't touch anything. And I slept all night with cats running across my face, literally like meow.
I can relate to that.
There you go.
Okay. Hey, Kurt, where was that place?
What being on tour?
Where was that? Where was that place in England we stayed at? The house that you had to like clean the bathroom for like. God. Kurt, we got to the, we played the show. Was that in Exeter?
It was somewhere.
Yeah, it
was somewhere I don't want to go again.
We played this show. The show was all right. One of the bands we had like played with was like, yeah, we got a house down the way. You guys are more than welcome to crash. And we get there, and these guys are just like epic hoarders, hoarders. And there are little like bunny trails through all of their shit to the couches. And like just like little tiny trails, just like all the stuff was like pushed up, and you could like kind of like walk around, and you could kind of get to a couch and like clear it off, and like all the couches are all greasy and just like gross. And but we're we're on the road. We're in England. We're like, we got no other option here. Like, this is the first time we've ever been out here. And Kurt like goes to use the bathroom, and like an hour and a half later, he comes out just like all sweaty and just looking just grim. And we're like, what are you doing in there, dude? And he's all like, I just spent an hour and a half cleaning the toilet. Just the toilet, mind you.
Yeah, it was so bad. It was
so that I could use it.
It was so disgusting that I was like, I'm not allowing any of my guys, let alone me, to sit on this toilet. And so I think I found like a wash rag, and I used all the shampoo that they had in the house to clean their toilet.
But just like Kurt coming out, just like covered in sweat, and looking just grim, and just like, what were you doing in there so long, there, buddy?
Oh man, there were a lot of weird people in that place.
Nothing fun. Yeah, they're like stalactite or stalagmite grease off of the stove.
Yeah, it was literally like it was about an inch and a half thick, just a pole of grease going down the floor.
You guys, I think we're broken.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! No!
All right.
She's more punk rock than all of us combined. Don't worry about Nickole.
I'm just gonna go there. I've shat in Gilman several times.
I've done
that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's kind of a rite of passage.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, if you don't get Hep C, you're okay. But if in the American healthcare system, if you want to find out if your immune system is working, you have to go shit in Gilman. You'll find out like a week later if you're okay. And
they call it the inoculation.
That's right.
Woof woof. Awesome. Well, hey, you guys have been a great, great group of people. Great group of people. I'm super happy to have you guys, and we have one last question to ask you. So this is the question for the new era. It's going to diverge away from the poop topic, just a little.
We spent entirely too much time on that, I think. But sorry, I opened that conversation like that. But
I don't know that we spent enough time on that. Actually,
I'm pretty sure we did.
All right. So
Brian's got a point.
So the question is this. The question is this. You guys have been stuck looking at the same four walls, thinking about the fact that music is gone and we're all suffering through this. And maybe you've had other issues that popped up too, fans, friends, family members are passing away. And that there's a tunnel and there's a light at the end of it. There's end in sight. What I want to do is I want to get everybody thinking about what it takes to not just emerge from the tunnel, but also to encourage other people to create a renaissance, to make art, music, dance, poetry, pottery, painting, all the P's, super important in people's lives again, because we need it. We need it as a nation. We need it as human beings, right? So I know that other musicians think about this, not just me. So the question to you is, what do you think you can do to contribute to a renaissance? And we'll start with Blush. Blush.
Wow, that's a deep philosophical question.
Yeah,
right? That's a deep question. I think probably, at least how I see it is that when this thing starts to thaw and life gets back to normal somewhat, there's going to be a huge appetite for the performing arts because people have been, sequestered from the world for so long. So I'm just building up my set list. I'm writing songs. I'm writing a book that when it becomes time to get out and play again, that I'm ready to tear it up and show some people a good time. I try to to reach out to the friends that I have every so often and explain to them that don't let the darkness take you, because the light is coming. So be ready for some good rock and roll, and we'll have a great time as soon as we get over this hump.
Yeah, for sure.
Nice. Yeah,
For sure. What about you, Nicole? What about you? What are your thoughts?
Well, I mean, what am I doing for like the Renaissance tours? I'm just working on my Renaissance. That's it.
Yeah.
My RB.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying not to lose my fucking mind. That's all. I mean, that's all. That's it. If I can keep this shit together, man, it's gonna be great when we come back.
Oh yeah.
If I could do it, you can too. You need to do like was it the like one of those hip exercise videos, for like moms, just be, if I can do it, you can too. Just eat fries while you're on a treadmill.
Getting your gains that way.
Dude, I got to find out where you're dancing at. I'll come see a show.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck yeah. I mean, as soon as
Vegas?
we're gonna put it in everybody's faces, including my titties.
Sounds like fun.
By the way, she does. She has an Instagram. Tell us your Instagram so that people can follow you.
My Instagram is Nickole, and Nicole with a K, Nickole, Nicole Muse.
Nice.
Because I'm a music myself anyway.
She does do some incredible photo shoots with local photographers and artists. She's been known to hang with rock and roll stars, to do exotic dancing gigs, to do not so exotic dancing gigs, and also do artistic photography, which is really cool because she's not afraid of her body and of the usage of it to deliver a message, which is kind of cool. So you get to see a lot of different aspects of that whole thing by simply knowing the muse, by being mused by the muse.
Okay. But I mean, I'm also trying to be one of the first, or not one of the, but be part of the independent circus performers that actually come back in Las Vegas, because so many of us have not made it. I already know a bunch of people that move, that just or have gone on to something else. And I mean, once I'll back, like I'm going to be 40 years old and just getting back into this, and my knees aren't happy about it, but fuck it, let's
yeah.
do it.
Nice. Nice.
Well,
I saw a bunch of hearts flutter by in the feed.
Today is my 53rd birthday, so I've got socks older than you, girl.
Well, that's just fine with me. You might want to replace those socks, though. I have feelings.
Just give them a wash, a dip. Just dip them, please. Maybe a little Lysol.
Yeah, maybe. That sounds like a lot of work.
The whole thing smacks of effort.
Speaking of effort, Marcus, what have you been thinking about to encourage other artists to take the world by storm?
You know what? I think building on Brian's assertion that people are going to be hungry for entertainment, I'm on standby. I'm keeping my fingers warm. I'm excited to play again. But I think that the appetite for live entertainment is going to compel people to go back to the early days of punk shows where they were just there. Like you found a place, you fucking put on a show. You found a community center, you somehow, 100%. You bamboozled them into giving you the place for a couple hours. So I'm just hoping that a groundswell of DIY comes out of this, just because the appetite is needed. So I just encourage people to put on shows, man. Rent out a warehouse, get what you can, and plug in, play live until they shut you off.
Yeah,
well said.
Absolutely. I think people should do shows in their living rooms, in their backyards, in the front yards. They should have a show in every room of the house.
Like those kids that set up in a Denny's. Did you see that?
Dude.
Yeah, they destroyed the tinnies.
That's the punkest fucking thing of all time.
Yeah.
So that we need
That's
more of
great.
that, man.
I can dig that. I can dig that.
They gave them the full
That's cool.
moons over my hammy.
The super bird.
The super bird.
I should go get my free birthday dinner at Denny's now that I think about it.
Hell yeah!
There you go.
There you go.
What's going on? You need your free dinner?
Do they still do that?
Yeah, they still did before the COVID lockdown. I don't know if they do that now.
Yeah, I probably can't even go in there.
Yeah, I think you have to have it shipped to you with decompression chamber or something.
Again, that sounds like way too much work for me.
Way too much.
Yeah.
Well, hey guys, it's been great having you guys. Let's go through it. It's Marcus Henderson. Marcus Henderson from Guitar Hero, Rock Band, and Hillbillies. We have Brian Blush from the Refreshments, and the writer for the King of the Hill soundtrack. Amazing. And we have Nicole Muse of the Franks and Deans and professional exotic dancer in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Franks and Deans.
Thank you guys for being on the show. Thank you so much. I'm honored to have you on. And thank you all for attending the Bidness.